Welcome into the Bad Fan. The 4-year wait is over. Or if you're an American, the tumultuous 8-year journey is finally coming to an end. And a new one begins this Sunday with the start of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. The World Cup is certainly not without its controversies, but has exciting players and countries to watch out for this World Cup. So, to break it all down, join us, the Bad Fans, for your World Cup preview. Our journey together begins right now. Well, welcome into a special World Cup edition of the Bad Fan. I am Cole Carter, and join with me are Stephen Curl and Brandon Patesnick. We are three American football fans who can't wait to share this next month with the rest of the world and watching the beautiful game together. So we're going to give you guys a bit of a background and rundown on this World Cup. This is the 22nd playing of the FIFA World Cup. The first edition was played all the way back in 1930 with Uruguay playing as the host nation. And since then, we have seen 8 different countries raise the famous Golden World Cup trophy. That means England, Spain, Argentina, France, who are the reigning world champions, Uruguay, Italy, Germany, and Brazil, the 5-time winners. Who will be coming out on top? Will it be one of those countries, or will we get a new winner in 2022? This will be the first time an Arab nation has been chosen as the host nation, which that note has come with plenty of scrutiny and international ire due to bribery scandals and many, many more. Things like the poor geopolitical record of Qatar and their human rights history, which has come to light. Just a long laundry list of issues that Qatar will be dealing with. But aside from that, this figures to be the most watched event in human history. Think about that. That's pretty incredible. Predicted estimated viewership of 5 billion people from across the world. That's insane. Just saying that number 5 billion is pretty incredible. But we can't preview every little aspect of the World Cup. It includes Qatar's involvement with anything. So we'll link some creators like Tifo, who've done a great series, as well as Johnny Harris, who is doing a 2-part series on what FIFA, Qatar, and the World Cup have to do with one another. So check them out. We'll leave them in the bio and the description, and the ramifications of the World Cup beyond. They will cover that for you guys. But today, we are going to predict each of the groups all the way to the World Cup final for your enjoyment. So let's not wait any longer. Let's dive straight into Group A with the host nation of Qatar. Boys, let's break this one down. Steven, I want you to kind of get us grooving here with Group A. Who's going to be finishing 4th place in this group?
Yes. This is the most attractive group out of the whole tournament. Probably the group of death. Psych! No, it's still a fun group. So host nation Qatar is playing Sunday. It's hosting Ecuador.
First game of the World Cup.
First game of the World Cup on Sunday. Maybe they forgot to schedule the game and they had to move the schedules around. They did. But yeah, so Qatar's playing Ecuador, then Senegal's playing Netherlands. Netherlands are the favorites in this group. I believe, in our opinion. Senegal is right there, though. Potential to win the group as well. 2 solid teams, superstars in Sadio Mane for Senegal is missing out, just I believe, in the early stages of the World Cup. Netherlands star power is just insane. We still have Depay. We got Frankie de Jong, De Ligt, Van Dijk, Steven Bergwijn, the whole crew. Yeah, the Netherlands are just a complete team and kind of just, European football royalty at this point. So Qatar and Ecuador have a tough hill to climb. Qatar coming into the World Cup ranked 50th in the world. It is the 2nd worst ranking out of any team that is playing currently in the World Cup. The worst is Saudi Arabia at 51. So, needless to say, they got some work to do. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Ecuador coming into this group, kind of researching the squad a little bit. They got a lot of young talent. They had a couple guys in Moises Caicedo that plays for the flying Brighton Hove Albion. He's like a market value of 35 million, and he's only 21 years old. Wow. And then there's also Pierre Hincapié, who is a 20-year-old center back that plays for Bayer Leverkusen, and also market value of over 30 million, I believe. So it's really cool for players like these. Not that there are not already on the world stage. We're talking about Premier League and Bundesliga, but this is the kind of tournament that can take you from a Brighton player to, well, I guess I shouldn't really say that about Brighton because they're doing so good this year, but to a Liverpool player, to getting that big transfer fee and stuff like that. So all is not lost for these smaller nations that probably will not advance past the group stage. It's fun to see people make a name for themselves. And so I think you'll be seeing that a lot from this Ecuador team, which I'm excited about. But yeah, it's looking like a Senegal, Netherlands kind of group in my opinion.
Okay, Senegal finishing first, Netherlands in second, Ecuador sitting in third, and Qatar coming in fourth, you say?
I think that's fair.
Okay. We love that. Thank you, Stephen, for your breakdown on Group A. Brandon, you're going to take Group B. What do you have for us looking at that group? We have the United States, England, Iran, and Wales. Break it down for us.
Yes, I will break it down a little bit. So England, they're famous for creating the sport of soccer, supposedly, but they have only won one World Cup in its history. That's sort of surprising. There's a lot of questions surrounding this team, to be honest. Their defense, are they good enough? Is their boring style of play good enough? They could fall out of the group stage. Probably not, though. They have the likes of Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, just to name three. I mean, the list goes on and on. They have star power all over the field, and they're a very good team. Moving on to Iran. Fun fact about Iran, they went 8-1-1 to secure their third straight World Cup appearance.
Wow.
I think they scored a lot of goals and let up very little. So they're a good team, and they've actually had some good World Cup success, especially against the USA in 1998, winning 2-1 and also drawing against the USA in a friendly. So we're not going to underestimate Iran in this group. Don't really know. There's one player that I could pick out that people might know. It's Mehdi Taremi. He plays as a forward for Porto. That's definitely a player to watch for Iran. Moving on to the U.S. We talked about the U.S. in a previous episode. Go back and check it out. But this U.S. team is really, really young. They're the second youngest team in the tournament this year, only behind Ghana. And probably the most famous player on the team, Christian Pulisic. Probably heard his name. Who knows what he's going to do, but this could be his tournament. This could be his moment, but it's not just going to fall on him. It's going to fall on the rest of the young crew. They like to call them the vibe crew. The likes of Weston McKennie, who plays at Juventus, Brendan Aronson, who's now at Leeds, and Gio Reyna, that's at Dortmund. A couple players there to look forward to. We'll see what they can do. And then Wales, this is their first World Cup appearance in over 60 years.
Incredible.
Yeah, shocker. Absolutely incredible. So they're going to be up for it. Captain Bale looking forward to putting the whole country of Wales on his back. It's Wales, Golf, Madrid, if you didn't know.
In that order.
In that order. And other than Gareth Bale, the likes of Dan James, who plays for Fulham, and Brendan Johnson, who plays for Nottingham Forest. They actually have a couple other good players too. But those are ones to definitely look out for in this group. For this group, though, we do have England topping it, the USA coming in second, Wales in third, and Iran in fourth. It's going to be a close group, though. I have a feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be contentious. It's going to be close. And we've talked about this in private and sometimes in conversation about how the U.S., the most important game potentially for this group, will be the United States versus Wales, the first one of the competition in this group. It's going to be massive. If the U.S. can get 3 points, they'll feel pretty secure moving forward against Iran and England. But anything less than 3 points, and they will have to work their butts off to get to the round of 16. So anything can happen in this one. It's all up for grabs, and it'll certainly be exciting to see that matchup between England and the United States on Black Friday. I cannot wait to see that one, hopefully with you guys in person.
Mm-hmm.
But I will take Group C. This one's going to be an entertaining one for sure. We have Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. So if you've heard anything recently, you've heard of this Messi guy, arguably one of the greatest players of all time. This could be his last World Cup. So all eyes will be on him. People are predicting Argentina as being the winners of this World Cup. So we'll be looking at what they can do with defenders like Christian Romero, Emiliano Martinez, who has been showing flashes of brilliance with Man United, and Lautaro Martinez, the forward from Inter Milan. Those are some players that Argentina has, just a couple of them. They're very, very talented, very deep. As you guys mentioned earlier, Saudi Arabia is the worst team that is playing in this World Cup statistically in the FIFA rankings, but they have qualified for the World Cup 6 out of the 8 times since their inaugural entry in 1994. Their forward, Salim Al-Dawsari from Al Hilal, is one of their most notable players, probably not the biggest name you've heard of, but he will look to contribute for the Saudi Arabian team. And then Mexico, along with Brazil, are the only 2 nations to make it out of the group stage over the last 7 World Cups. That's a pretty notable statistic there. And we'll see in a tough group like this if Mexico can hold their ground and continue that streak and make it 8 of the last couple of World Cups. They do have Edson Alvarez, a defender for Ajax, and Chucky Lozano, who is probably the biggest name coming from this Mexican side, the forward from Napoli. We'll see what he can do under Tata Martino. The pressure is on Martino to produce. Mexico have not been scoring a lot of goals in their qualifying and their matches, and the hot seat is getting only hotter for him. And I'm sure anything less than around a 16 will see Tata Martino's time in Mexico come to an end. And lastly, Poland has not made it out of the group in their last 3 World Cups in 2002, 2006, and 2018. But they have this guy. He's pretty good. Ballon d'Or winner. No big deal. Robert Lewandowski, striker, formerly of Bayern Munich, is now at Barcelona. He'll look to carry this Poland group out of the group stage. It's going to be really, really tough. For this one, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. I think that we will see Argentina is going to top the group. I think it's probably a given. And then Poland edging out over Mexico, seeing That's Mexico's streak come to an end, Saudi Arabia coming in at the bottom. That's just how I see it playing out. Poland with Robert Lewandowski, he just knows how to score goals. Obviously, scoring more points to win the game is a key, but really Mexico has shown their vulnerability. Just their lack of engagement up top is going to leave them vulnerable, and I think that Poland will probably take advantage of that in their group stage game against them. Obviously, Poland will probably do a number against Saudi Arabia. I think Argentina will cruise. So Argentina and Poland coming out of Group C, which then leads us to Group D. Let's tackle this one together this time. We have France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. France coming in as the reigning champions of the World Cup. We have seen the past 2 World Cups, maybe 3. I think we've seen Germany in 2018, they got bounced from the group stage, and then Spain prior to that had been bounced. And even France, when they won in 98, in 2002, they were bounced out of the group stage as well. So maybe that curse is real. We'll see. But Brandon, what do you think about this group?
Yeah, I don't know if that curse is going to stay here. France is just too good, right? They're just too good. I have some fun facts for us. Australia, their national team is also known as the Socceroos. I think that's a beautiful name, maybe the best name. Denmark, they'll be wearing their muted kits as a silent protest to this Qatari World Cup. And then Tunisia, they've only won 2 games ever in their 5 World Cup appearances. Things aren't looking too great for them, especially with this group. But you never know. You never know. I'll let Steven cover the players.
Yeah, you do never know. And going to Tunisia, we'll start with them. Give some love to the people that we might think finished bottom. Yeah, looking into this roster, not a whole lot of guys that are playing abroad. A couple that stuck out to me. We have one from Brandon's Birmingham City. That's his favorite team, right? Is it the Blues?
No.
For y'all that don't know, that's Aston's. It's Aston Villa's biggest rival. Yeah, but they have a 19-year-old in Hannibal Mejbri. And I'm going to sound like a broken record player. Only 2 wins and 5 World Cup appearances. This is huge for this 19-year-old that's playing against the giants of France. So you have to think about it as this. He's a 19-year-old could be making a name for himself on this stage. You never know. Maybe he puts Pogba and then Pavard on their butt and then slots one past Hugo Lloris for a 5-1 score line of them losing. But still, you never know. So that's a cool guy. And then Elise Skahiri, I believe, I'm probably butchering that, is a defensive midfielder that also plays for Tunisia. There we go. Gosh. Plays for Köln, which is top division in German football for, it's pretty cool. It has 14 appearances. Both of these guys born in France. Another point about World Cup teams and nationalities is a lot of players that play for their team here in the World Cup aren't born for the team they're playing for. U.S. has a lot of guys like this, every team, and it's kind of become a thing of practice now. And Cole mentioning at the top of the video a little bit about Qatar. Qatar is a huge history with this, of a lot of their players not being born in Qatar and actually leading multi-billion-dollar scouting missions in continents of Africa and stuff like that to find wonder kids and starting academies. So this is a real thing. So this is the best of the best. When you think of these players, don't think of, oh, this is Joe Schmo from Atlanta, Georgia playing for the U.S. It's like, oh, no, this is somebody that was born in the Netherlands, like Serginia Dest. Sorry, just a little tangent coming to my mind there, but kind of fun.
Great, that's great.
You'll be seeing these players playing for their countries that they feel represent them most, which is cool to see. It's fun to see. But yeah, anyways, moving on with the group. Denmark, Christian Eriksen, my good man, Tottenham Hotspur legend. His last international tournament was a little eventful, and him having cardiac arrest.
Lightly.
Yeah, put it lightly. Having cardiac arrest, and his heart stopped, correct?
He died.
Yes, he died on the field in the Euros. What a comeback story to be playing for your country in the World Cup. It's absolutely incredible. It's unfathomable. It's amazing. So, and he's in really good form too, scoring against Fulham on the weekend. So he's coming into this World Cup feeling pretty good. Thank goodness, leading some other Tottenham current players like Kieran Højbjerg. And you also have a midfielder from Brentford and Damsgaard. And then Australia. Sorry, I'm slighting them a little bit. Thank goodness Brandon was giving some fun facts. Think of Aaron Moy, a guy that used to play for Brighton, currently plays for Celtic. Kind of this Clint Eastwood riding off into the sunset. This last kind of international appearance for this country. 32 years old. Not a whole lot to report though from Australia. I think they're going to finish borderline bottom of the group. But hey, you never know.
Well, speaking of where they will finish, let's check that out. Let's go ahead and place this. So, Brandon, what do you think? How should we place this group? We thinking France on top, Denmark on top. They had a great Euro 2020. What do we think?
They did. I think it'd be easy to just put France up top, but Denmark could do it. I just want to let everybody know, similar to how Mexico could make it over Poland, there's going to be a lot of these situations where we're just not sure. We're just sort of going with it, our gut feeling. I think it's safe to put France, then Denmark. And I think, are we going Tunisia, then Australia? Or are we doing Australia, Tunisia?
Let's put Tunisia. I think we can support them. Put the Aussies at the bottom. Not feeling very hot about the Aussies, if we're being honest here.
Yeah. The Socceroos, so they're called.
The Socceroos. It's probably a fair bet to think that, France,
so it's called
Denmark. It's called soccer. I think Denmark is going to be that sneaky team that can look to make a deep run in this tournament. I think that they proved that in Euro 2020, and now having Christian Eriksen an entire tournament more than likely will be a huge boost to them, just confidence-wise and playmaking-wise. He'll be that creator in the middle of the field that can change the flow of the game and change an outcome of the game with one kick at the ball. So Group D, that will be a fun one to see, which brings us to Group E. This one is it's important. It's got a lot of solid teams in it. We have Costa Rica, who made a big run in the past in the World Cup. Obviously, 2 World Cup winners that I mentioned. These teams have done it before. Germany's done it 4 times. It's very impressive. And Japan, looking to represent with South Korea as one of the Asian teams in this tournament. It's going to be interesting. The big debate probably is going to be between Germany and Spain, who will come out on top. But, I mean, Spain. This is a team that's has the third youngest player in the tournament with Gavi. He's 18 years old in 107 days. That's very young, but they're very, very talented. Having Pedri alongside him on this world stage, they'll be looking to have a lot of eyes on them. And you include Rodri, the midfielder from Manchester City, and that's an incredible midfield. Spain will not be messing around. But Brandon, what is Costa Rica doing?
Costa Rica is an interesting team. They are the most successful national football team in the history of Central America. They've won 3 CONCACAF titles, and they are the only Central American team to have played in 5 FIFA World Cups.
That's
yeah, the history precedes them. They have a goalkeeper by the name of Keylor Navas. Many of you have probably heard of him, plays for PSG. Other than that, most of their players actually come from Costa Rica. They play in Costa Rica. But they're always pretty good and they're fun to watch. So this Costa Rican team could surprise people. I think this group should have a lot of eyes on it because there could be some upsets here.
One of my favorite memories, I'll include this real quick, was in 2014, being in Costa Rica when they went on one of their incredible World Cup runs and then watching it with some locals. It's pretty amazing. Awesome. But it's going to be a tough group to get out of them for this time because, Steven, Germany's got some firepower, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, Germany's up there with, it's World Cup royalty, 4 titles of the World Cup. They're, like you said, history precedes itself. Champions 4 times in 1954, 74, 90, and 2014. They're a very good team. They got Ilkay Gundogan from Manchester City that had a crazy year last year. Needs to find some form this year. Thomas Muller, the space interpreter. He just seems to not go away and play meaningful games for Germany and show up well. Yeah. Oh, then I didn't know this guy made the roster. Mokoko, the guy, he plays for Dortmund, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the youngest player in the tournament.
That's crazy. Was he 17?
Yeah, 18.
Dang, that's crazy. So, but yeah, Germany's it's this fine mix of stars like Leroy Sané and Goretzka and Neuer, guys that you feel like you've heard over and over and over. And then the youngest player in the tournament. Great coaching, but not exempt from group stage failures, like we've touched on earlier. So it'll be interesting to see this team. Is it going to be the kind of run where they dismantle a Brazil like 7-0 or fail to get out of the group stage? I'm not super worried. And I think that they'll be up there with Spain at the top of the group.
I agree, yeah. And if I feel bad for Japan because this team didn't qualify for its first World Cup until the 1998 tournament when that one was back in France. But since then, they've kind of become an Asian power alongside, like I said earlier, South Korea. They've reached 7 consecutive World Cups now. Back in the day, used to have this guy named Honda. Honda played for Milan in Italy, made a name for himself. But now Kaoru Mitoma, midfielder from Brighton Hove Albion, he'll be looking to lead Japan, but it's going to be tough. I really, really don't think Japan will be able to win this group, but they may be able to play spoiler. That may be their role in this group, is to knock a team out like Germany or Spain, getting a draw against them or getting a win. Anything can happen in this World Cup. So let's line it up. Let's get this prediction out of the way for Group E. What do we think? Germany probably is going to come out on top of this one. Will we agree Spain coming out in second or Costa Rica in second? I would probably lean Spain, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a giant could fall here, but it's so hard to bet against Germany, especially how they played last tournament or the last World Cup. They're not going to go out. Spain could, but I also just doubt it. There's just no way. Japan's good. Costa Rica's good. But Germany and Spain, I think, is safe.
And a quick point, too, to point out about how these kind of group stages work is all these teams play each other once, and it is very possible for these teams to have the same record. By then, it would go off goal differential of who goes through. So certain results matter for a team like Costa Rica if they just stall a Germany and they maybe lose 1-0, but go out and beat Japan like 3-0. And if these giants don't get it done on the teams that they're supposed to beat or just supposed to like kill and stuff like that, That's when these guys fall that we're talking about. So the amount of goals that are scored matter, and the amount of goals that you concede matter.
Yep. So let's say Costa Rica will finish third in Group E, leaving Japan bottom of the group. Not the greatest sight if you're a Japanese fan, but you can still be optimistic. We could be wrong. They could play spoilers. They could find their way out of Group E, but looking unlikely with powerhouses like Germany and Spain to lead them. Brandon, you want to take us through Group F? What can we expect from them?
Yeah, I will try my best. So this group has Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia. Belgium is the only national team in the world to top the FIFA ranking without having won a World Cup or a continental trophy. That's a little weird, but they do have the best midfielder in the world named Kevin De Bruyne, who plays for Manchester City. And they have a pretty good striker named Romelu Lukaku, who plays at Inter Milan, amongst a lot of other players. So just listing a few that you will see in the headlines probably. Moving on to Canada, they are breaking their 36-year drought with this World Cup appearance. They have a bunch of young talent. They're pretty fun, actually, but they do have some of the worst kits, if I remember correctly, in this World Cup.
Very true. They didn't even get new kits. They were disrespected by Nike and didn't get new kits.
Yeah, bad, but I don't think that's going to affect their play at all. Alphonso Davies plays left back for Bayern Munich, one of the hottest young talent in the world. And then also Jonathan David, who's also 22, with 9 goals and 3 assists in Ligue 1 this year for Lille. Absolutely amazing. I think their team is sort of going under the radar. Remind me, did they top CONCACAF?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
So
I think Canada topped. They were undefeated, I think, in CONCACAF, were they not?
Yeah, so they were undefeated getting into this World Cup. That could back them and push them through. I don't know. We'll see when we predict. Moving on to Morocco, they're the only African national team in history to have been at the top of the FIFA World Rankings for 3 consecutive years. That was 97 through 99. I didn't know that until looking that up. Very surprising, but absolutely amazing. So they have a rich history. A player to watch out for is Hakim Ziyech, plays forward for Chelsea, and Hakimi, who plays right back for PSG. It's really going to come down to these guys. They typically play on the same side. If this Morocco team wants to make moves, it's sort of hard to see them doing so, but they definitely could. And then Croatia, they were runners up in 2018, losing to France. Did that go? That didn't go to penalties, did it? Remind me.
Extra
Anybody know?
time,
Extra time.
Griezmann winner.
There we go. Thank you. My memory's terrible. Thank you, Cole. But they have the likes of Ivan Perisic, who plays left back for Tottenham. He sort of plays all over the field. But and then Luka Modric, a Ballon d'Or winner, midfielder for Real Madrid. This is an aging squad, but still a good squad. And if they could put it together one last time, I think they might have a chance at some success this World Cup. So moving on to our predictions now. I think we're going to put Belgium first. How could you not? But they could also fall. I don't know. Are we going to put Canada second? Are we going to do that?
They had an incredible qualifying run. They are a hungry young team. They have a lot to prove. Like we talked about, they haven't made the World Cup in decades. Can they be the team that plays spoiler going up against one of those more experienced older teams like Croatia, the runners up in 2018? Why not? Why not them? We see giants fall. Why not see them come out of Group F, finishing second?
I'm into it. Kyle Larin also had 13 goals in qualifying, and then Jonathan David had 9. Those were the top 2 goal scorers in all of CONCACAF in World Cup qualifying.
Wow.
They're a solid team.
Yeah, we're going with
This is a good group. This is a good group.
It's a good group. It is a good group. A lot of things could happen, but Canada second. We'll stick with it. Croatia in third, and then Morocco last. Interesting. Man, this is why I love the World Cup. I love it. You just never know what's going to happen.
That's probably the most wide open group too, honestly. Out of all these groups, that's probably the biggest question mark.
And it could even change. Belgium could have a flop. Croatia could finish first. Morocco could finish second. It literally, it's so interchangeable of what could happen in this group that I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome, to be honest.
Gosh.
So it's going to be exciting. It is going to be exciting. We will see who takes the cake on this one. In Group G, we do have, I think, the favorites. I'm wearing their jersey tonight. Maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know, but they have a lot of great talent. I'm talking about Brazil. You can see the stars. They've won this thing 5 times in the past. It's been talked about for years. They were close. Then they got slammed by Germany in 2014, 7-2. They've won it in 1958, 1962, 1970, 94, and the last time in 2002. They're also the only country to qualify for every FIFA World Cup. Come on. They've scored the most goals of all time. It's hard not to like that. But this is probably their best team they have. We know the big stars. We have Neymar. We have Vinny Jr. They are stacked from the top to the bottom. It's hard to not like them. And then you have teams like Serbia and Switzerland and Cameroon. Serbia has Dusan Vlahovic, who that big recent transfer to Juventus. Alexander Mitrovic coming in from Fulham. Will he be healthy to play? That'll be a big factor in determining Serbia's success in this tournament. Switzerland, Shaqiri. Do we have any bold predictions for Shaqiri in this?
Oh, yeah. I'm really glad you asked. Shaqiri will win the Golden Boot. And I don't want to hear any ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's my boy. Shaqiri's my dog. He has that dog in him. But anyways, just don't be surprised for Shaqiri to, take it by storm.
Well, you heard it here first. Shaqiri's about to win the Golden Boot alongside Granit Xhaka, the first place Arsenal Gunners. They have been led by him. We'll see if he can continue his success in this tournament. And then Cameroon, they became the first African country to actually reach the quarterfinals of the World Cup in 1990. And in 2000, they won the Olympic Games. So they have that international pedigree there. It's just a matter of actually following through in 2022. What can they do as a team? Andre Frank Zambo and Gisa, midfielder from Napoli, and Brian Mbumo, forward from Brentford, will be looking to lead this Cameroon team to something. What can they scrape out of this group? I don't know, because for me, looking at things, I'm probably going to put Brazil at the top. I think that's pretty much a given at this point. You guys, I'm sure, will agree. And that leaves probably Serbia and Switzerland. Who do we feel belongs in that second spot, lads?
I think this second spot is super wide open, but I think I lean Switzerland here. I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
I know I just said Shaqiri is going to win the Golden Boot, but I don't think he's going to get out of the group stage. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I think it could be either or, but Serbia just seems, I don't know. I feel like they're always past the group stage. I don't know. They're always playing teams tough, no matter if it's Germany, Brazil, or whoever it is. They always give you a tough game. But I'm fine with Switzerland coming in second. That means my boy Shaqiri gets to the knockouts, and I'm always for that.
He has to score goals beyond the group stage to probably win the Golden Boot. So we'll stick Switzerland in that second spot, see what they can come up with. And then let's tackle this last one as a team. The last group to look at here is Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. This is a pretty good group all around, I would have to say. Portugal is just stacked. Brandon, who do they have on their team that we're probably familiar with at this point, but you might as well mention that.
Yeah, we mentioned in the last podcast. It seems like we've mentioned it every podcast this year. Drama follows this guy, but he is the top international goal scorer of all time. It is Cristiano Ronaldo. You know him. We know him. Probably the most famous person on earth. I don't know. But this will be
my
his
Instagram's count. Yes, he almost has 500 million followers on Instagram. That is incredible.
Yeah. So if you're not following him, maybe give him an extra follow. No, he doesn't need it. Give us a follow. Subscribe right now. Hit the like button. But he'll be playing in his 5th World Cup.
Maybe final.
It could be. I feel like Ronaldo's going to play until he's 60. He's just one of those guys. But I don't know. He's going to be the Tom Brady of world soccer. But yeah, he plays for Manchester United for now. But then there's the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who also plays on Manchester United. Bernardo Silva, who plays for Manchester City. And honestly, I was looking at this roster. this roster is super deep as well. I mean, the list of names goes on and on. They could slip, but man, it's going to be hard to see them not get out of this group stage.
Yeah, they could be suited for a deep run. And much like you said, Tom Brady and Cristiano Ronaldo going through a divorce, much like Tom Brady with Manchester United. Hey-o. Sorry about that.
Jeez.
But aside from Portugal, Ghana, this is America's arch rival. They've seen lots of drama with America. We'll see if they can find each other in this tournament. But they are actually the oldest team internationally in Africa, established all the way back in 1920. Thomas Partey, the midfielder from Arsenal, and Tariq Lamptey, who I believe had been on the English team and then changed his allegiance this past year to Ghana. He's a right back from Brighton. Will be looking to make a difference. And then Uruguay have won 2 FIFA World Cups, in addition to a record 15 Copa America titles. They were the first hosts of the World Cup back in 1930, as I mentioned. They'll be led by Darwin Núñez, the forward from Liverpool up top. And then Korea. They have won 2 Asian Cups and have been the runners-up 4 times. They've also participated in 10 whole World Cup tournaments and is the only Asian team to have reached the semifinals and will be led by none other than Son Heung-min from Tottenham, who has a orbital face fracture but had surgery on it. He'll be wearing the Batman mask to hopefully stay healthy. But this one, it's got a lot to fight for. These are all 4 really solid teams. Korea were the ones that played spoiler in 2018, knocking Germany out of the group stage. So, guys, I don't know where to start with this one. Who do we have? Let's just start at the bottom. Who's going to finish bottom of this group? Who do we think?
Steve, what do you think?
I'm actually going to go with the spoilers of the last World Cup and say Korea finishing in that 4 spot, probably, for me.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
Fair. I think that's fair. Which then leaves, I don't know, for me, I think Ghana's probably going to be 3rd. I just don't see how they can get past that stacked Portugal team. Like we mentioned, I think Uruguay has some players right now that are playing some really good football. So I would put Ghana in 3rd if y'all agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm okay with that.
All right, which then leaves the top 2 spots, Portugal and Uruguay. Will Cristiano Ronaldo find anything less than success in this group?
If success is first, then yes, but I think they will get through. Obviously, like we're saying, I'd put Portugal 2nd and surprising Uruguay 1st. Do you guys agree, disagree, thoughts?
I like that. I think I talked about this a little bit. Like Rodrigo Bentancur, he's been playing some amazing football for Tottenham. We'll see if he can make a difference, locking down some players on Portugal. And yeah, Darwin Núñez, the young gunner, will he find success in the World Cup, his first appearance in it? I'm hoping so. I think Uruguay, like I mentioned, Denmark, they might be one of the sleepers that can make a deep run in this tournament. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of seeing what Cristiano Ronaldo can do when he's angry. I think that would be really freaking awesome to see, just a guy that goes out there and wants to remind people what he's capable of. And my man's trying to leave in January, so he's going to have all that extra pressure on him. The entire world is watching this one man and Cristiano Ronaldo. But yeah, all that being said, I find them finishing in 2nd, but you might see a beast unleashed, or, my man just kind of slowly seeing finally the end of his career. I hope it's the first one.
I'm hoping he stays hot as well. I'm not ready to see Cristiano bow out of international football quite yet, especially at the club level. I think he still has a lot to offer. Like we mentioned in the past podcast, there's a lot this guy is looking to play for, and I'm hoping that he's not done quite yet. So that is the group stage all the way A through F. Lots and lots of stuff to play for. The round of 16, that is where things will get spicy and get interesting. Whew, let's break it down. So this is the matchups based on our picks, brackets, 1st and 2nd teams to come out. The very first matchup we have on the board, Senegal versus the United States of America. I think this one's going to be pretty interesting considering Sadio Mane's health. They were the African champions, but the U.S. team could come out hungry. I would have to favor the U.S. on this one, guys. Do y'all follow that American spirit?
Ooh, cricket. Yeah, Senegal. If they play the United States, they will beat us. But I did put them in one of my brackets that I submitted for the U.S. to go through because why not? Why not?
Okay.
I think I'm into it.
Yeah, I think they definitely could. I think this is a pretty favorable draw. Senegal is very good, but I think this game would end up being really open. And maybe US sort of bunkering and countering.
Oh, wow.
I don't
Okay,
know
Brandon.
though. It's either I can see it go a lot of ways if this actually happens.
I'll keep in mind the U.S. just lost to Japan 2-0 right before the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't know. This is definitely extreme bias, but I will choose the USA over Senegal on this one.
My
I'm into
man.
it.
This is going to be a huge matchup. Argentina and Denmark, if this one goes down. I had mentioned Denmark as being a team that can make a run, but running into the World Cup favorites probably is going to stop them short, don't you guys think?
Yes.
It's hard to stop the GOAT.
Yeah, Messi's coming off that Copa America win, and he wants more hardware. So I think Argentina's going to take this one pretty. I won't say easily, but they're definitely going to be favored to win this matchup.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, but Argentina is on a mission. Yeah, I think they'll win that game.
Yeah, a Messi mission without a doubt. I mean, he's fighting for everything. His legacy is not entirely up in the air, but a lot of people think he has to win the World Cup to be compared to like Maradona. We'll see if he can get it done in 2022. Denmark will be the first major hurdle, I believe, for him, which Germany and Canada, as newcomers from up north going against the Germans, I think Canada's going to find little success against Germany. Germany has a lot of firepower, a lot of talent, a lot of experience. Canada probably falls short with their World Cup run here, don't they not?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just looking at it and like, who's dropping out? Because there's always games, right? There's always upsets. Even some in the round of 16, there's a giant that falls. I don't know if we chose one this time, so I'm feeling weird about our predictions already. But yeah, I think Germany will take care of Canada if they meet.
I think that's fair. Set the stage for Brazil, Portugal, Steve.
Man, the best game in this round of 16 if this was how it were to shake out. Portugal versus Brazil. Brazil to me are the favorites for the whole tournament. More depth. I think it's the most talented Brazil team to ever play, just on paper. God, you know what though? I'll go with Portugal.
Wow.
This was actually my final on one of my other brackets. I think I had Portugal finishing the top of their group. But anyways, yeah, it's Brandon's just talking about a giant falling, and I'm just all on the Cristiano train, so I'll go Portugal, but I'm sure y'all say Brazil, and I'm totally fine with that too.
Brandon, do we agree? I'm wearing a Brazil shirt right now. I had them going all the way, but what do you think, B-Pat? I'll leave you to it.
Oh man, don't put this on me. But I was gonna say Portugal is always my dark horse in the World Cup.
Ooh.
They're like not a top 5 footballing country, but they're right there behind it. And like I said earlier, they have a deep roster. So they could do it. But this Brazil team, man, it's just so hard to go against them, man. Like we said, I think it might be the best Brazil roster ever.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's safe to just put Brazil.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see Portugal mixing it up here. That would be crazy. I think that, again, like Steve said, that's the best game of this group stage.
Or if Portugal went through, hypothetically, Argentina beats the U.S. in that game, we could be setting up a Ronaldo-Messi matchup in the semifinal to go to the World Cup final. Are we saying Brazil or Portugal, Brandon? Which one was it?
It's on me. Brazil.
It's
All right, Brazil. It is setting up a semifinal rematch of 2014 with Germany and Brazil, which then brings us to England and the Netherlands. The the Netherlands have found themselves in a World Cup final. England have found themselves in a Euro final and the World Cup semifinals. Pretty solid matchup. Netherlands have found some experience and have got some young guys that are looking to make a name for themselves. But England have a lot of talented players, a lot of Premier League players. They want to bring this thing home. And I don't think the Netherlands, it's tough. I mean, it just depends. If Virgil van Dijk is himself, he could be that stone wall that England can't get past. But I think England probably just has that momentum that'll take them to at least a semifinal. For me, I'll say that.
I think that's fair. I agree with you, England. What are you gonna say, Steve?
I think England's is gonna figure it out for this one particular game.
Cool, easy. France and Poland. France, the reigning World Cup champions, taking on that solid Robert Lewandowski-led side. Again, France. We just talked about these rosters. Some of them are just so deep, so talented. France has injury problems here and there. Will that be enough to hinder them, though, from advancing past Poland, Steven?
No, France will get through. I will say in this game, probably with ease, they're just a more complete team over Poland. Lewandowski's great, but the pace of that French squad is insane.
Yeah. I'll also say if we had put Mexico, which that's where Poland is, and that could happen, I think Mexico could upset France, surprisingly.
It's a big
I think that's an interesting matchup there. So if it ends up being France-Mexico, watch out. That could be a massive upset. But France versus Poland, France for sure.
Love that. Spain and Belgium, the number 2 ranked team in the FIFA World Cup rankings. Belgium taking on that young Spanish side. For me, I just think it's going to be a matter of who has that leaky defense on the day. I think Belgium has, a little bit older of a back four. Spain, like we talked about, has some young stars. I don't know what to make of this one, but I'll kind of guess Spain. I think Spain has a lot to prove. They've fallen short in the past couple of international tournaments. I think this time they'll want to show that those were flukes and that they are a talented team that can produce on the world stage. So I'm going to take Spain in this one. I don't know what you guys think about that, but hopefully you agree.
And this is another tough one. Another one to circle right behind that Brazil-Portugal game. I think this game would probably go to penalties, if I'm being honest. Both these teams are great. Spain probably has more firepower than Belgium. This is Belgium's golden generation sort of falling away, getting old.
It's the sunset generation now.
Sunset generation, whatever that means.
They're on the downward decline. The end.
I like it.
Yes.
I like that. I think they're going to turn into the blue generation. If you're getting the references. I agree with you. I think Spain would probably win this game.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Spain as well.
Perfect. Uruguay, Switzerland. For me, I talked a lot about Uruguay being a team that can do big things. I just have to go with them. I'm believing that they've done this before. They've been in the mix of these tournaments, usually led by Luis Suarez. Can they do it again? I think, why not? Let's see them do it against Switzerland in the round of 16.
Man, this one's tough. Again, really, really tough. I think Switzerland could easily win this game. But Uruguay, I think Darwin Nunez might be challenging for the Golden Boot this tournament. That's one of my takes that I have. So
that's a big take.
I'll choose Uruguay as well.
Dang.
Perfect.
That's that Shaqiri take for me.
Shaqiri's not the player Darwin Nunez is.
He hasn't had great form at Liverpool. I'm just throwing that out there.
He has scored more goals than you think this year.
Well, on the back-to-back, Uruguay and Spain, this would be a quarterfinal matchup. That would be, hard to differentiate between the two sides. You have a South American team and that Western European side like Spain. Really, for this one, I'd just be like a 50-50 shot. Hard to really pick between the two sides. If I'm going off anything, I just think Uruguay has just been more consistent than Spain has and has shown what they can do, and that's why I would back Uruguay in this instance.
Man, Steve, what do you think about that? I'd say Spain, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going Spain. I think Spain
Okay.
is a deeper squad, and I think when you're resting on the laurels of Luis Suarez and Darwin Nunez, I don't know. I just think Spain has more weapons. So, but yeah,
And Cavani.
and Cavani. That's true. That's true. We'll play 20 minutes a game. You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
I respect it. I respect it. This one, England and France, this will be huge if it matches up this way in the World Cup. Two favorites coming up to each other in the quarterfinal will be massive. And again, it's going to be a matter of who's healthy at this point in the tournament. If England comes out healthy, France with some injuries, England just has that ability to put teams away with a guy like Harry Kane up top, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. I mean, Raheem Sterling. They just have all those guys that can score goals and create things out of nothing. But France, they have guys like Kylian Mbappe, who's the brightest, youngest star in the world at this point. How can you not overlook him? This is hard indeed. I want England to win. I really do think that they deserve to see another final. But if they're going to fall short to anyone, it's going to be France here, isn't it?
Yeah, it would. I mean, they have the likes of Benzema, who won the Ballon d'Or. Griezmann. I mean, this France team is good as well, but I do think England is better.
Yeah.
I would choose England to go over France.
Yeah, I mean, the question is early on the podcast we were talking about England's defense. What are we getting?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep,
that is.
that's
Are
true.
you just going to get torched by Mbappe, or I mean, England's defense has been stellar. Like Harry Maguire on the international stage has been a good defender. But yeah, what are you gonna get at Trent on that right side? I don't know.
He might not start. Trent might not
Or
even
he might not even be starting. That's true with Trippier. I want to say England. I feel like, yeah, I'll say England off of France being the last World Cup champions. Is just so stupid to actually pick England, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know.
These are the
why
tough decisions. These are the tough decisions we're going through together.
We'll take England here, which brings us back to the top half of the bracket. U.S. Argentina. For me, this is easy. Argentina would just blast the United States. I don't feel bad about it. I feel proud that the U.S. made a quarterfinal because it's hard when you run into the GOAT, isn't it?
Yes.
It's easy. It's easy. It's Argentina.
I thought you were going to surprise us and say USA.
No, I'm not. I'm not delusional. I think it'd be a deep honor to lose to Argentina in the quarterfinals.
I completely agree.
So really, it just comes to the question of, does Brazil find redemption against Germany in the quarterfinals? I mean, this would be the biggest game they've played since that 2014 embarrassment. David Luiz with his hands in his face, just embarrassed at the Americana of all places to lose 7-2 to the eventual World Cup winners. I think they have to win this game. At this point, there's no turning back. They have to beat Germany, and I think they would at that point.
Man, there's a lot riding on this game. It is that 7-2 rematch. But if you look further on, if Germany goes through, it's a rematch of that World Cup that Germany did end up winning off of Mario Götze goal. And then if Brazil goes through, it's the two favorites playing each other. So it's
exactly.
Like, oh God, what do I want? What do I want? Germany has some of the best kits. Brazil's are good, but not as great. That's not going to sway my opinion, though. I think Brazil would beat Germany. Close, though. I think it'd be close.
Yeah, Brazil. Not too much more to add. I think it's going to be Brazil.
Perfect. All right. So that has our semifinals matchup set. Argentina and Brazil, England and Spain for powerhouses. Probably the biggest names, arguably, in international football. You have two European sides against two South American sides. England, Spain. This one, like I said, England has that. And we talked about that leaky defense. Who are we going to get out of Harry Maguire? What's it going to look like? But again, they proved in Euro 2020 that they can do it in these tournaments, in these one-off games. this could be one of those, like you said, Brandon, this could be like a penalty matchup. Spain is probably one of those teams that's going to drag a team out, grind it out, get to penalties, and see what happens there. But England has some really good penalty takers. They did fall short with Rashford, Sancho, and Saka in those Euro penalties, but I will favor England in this matchup over Spain.
I would as well. I think England's experience going deep the past couple tournaments really helps them here. Gareth Southgate, with being quite conservative in his style of play, will help England here as well. Yeah, really, really good matchup. But I would also choose England, surprisingly.
I'll be in the minority and say Spain. But I love all the points. I agree with all the points. England has an incredibly talented squad of so many players playing in their prime. And I think this is going to be a scenario where you see failure in the Euros kind of build this team up to know their weaknesses. So I think it'll be a great game, but I'll also say Spain, but totally good with England going to the final.
Okay, and then Argentina, Brazil, a legendary matchup. Just incredible having Messi against Neymar, Argentina against Brazil, two of the biggest teams that I'm sure people will be supporting around the world will be Argentina and Brazil. Messi, and potentially this would be his last game if he lost an international play. So, how do you pick this one? I'm wearing the Brazil jersey, but at the back of my mind, like I want Messi to win. But I just think as a whole, Brazil's the better team, and I feel like they would probably win, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they would as well. But man, football is just magical, isn't it? I mean, we love the story about it all. Messi, last World Cup, made it to the final against Germany and came up just short. He's going to be judged on that for all of time. I don't think he should be. But is it his time? I think it may be. I really honestly can't decide. God, Steve, any thoughts? Help us out, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also cool to see Messi going from maybe not ever playing with their international team again. Like there was a time of that. And him missing his PK in the Copa America, him having a lot of resentment, coming back, winning Copa America.
Putting the nation on his shoulders.
Yeah, honestly. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm a romantic when it comes to sports. However, I think this is the most talented Brazilian team ever. My opinion means little to none to Messi, but yeah, I think Brazil has way too much power and on their bench to lose this game.
All right, so that has a Brazil-England matchup. And guys, I mean, a Brazil-England matchup would just be phenomenal. It's hard to deny these two teams are special. They have the pedigree. I mean, it's hard to like just to throw all of that out. So, if we got to a Brazil-England final, who are going to be the game changers in this one? What kind of final would we expect from this? Would we expect just people to sit back? Would we expect an engaging, attacking kind of game? What would this final be like? Would it be the best final ever?
I don't know about that. I don't know enough World Cup final history. But I think Brazil would really force England to get out of the way they play. Like Brazil is electric. They are so good. Hence why we put them in the final here. But they would have to force England to get out of that weird style that Southgate likes to have them play. And that might help England. Like how explosive we see these English players play in the Premier League week in, week out. Like what if they did that on the national team scale? We'd be talking about them as if they were Brazil, right? But because of Gareth Southgate and the way he coaches the team, like they're just limited, I think is the best way to say it. But there's players on both sides. I don't know who would really stand out, but someone will. I don't know, Steve, what do you think?
I'll go with Neymar, man. I think this he has to be feeling like this is my sneakily tournament. Kind of in the shadows of Ronaldo and Messi, his whole career. He's placed on this Brazilian team that's incredibly talented. And I'm sure he has complete freedom to do whatever he wants to do in these games. So, and he has so much raw talent. I don't know. I think Neymar is going to be such a pivotal player for this Brazil team. Because they just have so much pace. But anyways, it's going to be a great final if that's what it is. But I'll go with a little shimmy Neymar in there for the difference maker for me.
I know regardless of the outcome, this would be an emotional final. I think for both sides. It's just there's so much pressure on both of these
England
teams.
loses.
That's the thing. Like Brazil, their fans, their nation is so intense. I didn't watch the whole series, but I watched a brief snippet of their like all or nothing, whatever series with the national team. It's just like it matters so much. But then England has so much pressure on them to finally win something. They've been so close and have had it ripped away at the last second twice now, the Euros and the World Cup. And it's just like they lost again. Like it's incredible. So both these teams, I think, have the most pressure on them, more than Messi, more than Ronaldo. And I feel like if I'm Harry Kane, like that weight is sitting heavy on his shoulders. He wants to lead his nation to a World Cup trophy. And I think even more than Neymar's won Olympic gold. He's done a lot of things that Harry Kane hasn't. Harry Kane hasn't gotten that silverware yet for a club or his country. He's done it individually, but he hasn't done it for his club. So all that being said, I think Brazil wins.
If that's what we're giving, yeah, Brazil would win this game. It could honestly get ugly, but I don't think it would. Yeah, Brazil would win.
They're just too talented. Brazil has the speed, the tiki taka, just the flair. They
Joga
play
bonito.
beautiful football. Yeah, joga bonito. And yeah, I had the jersey on. I was going for Brazil the entire time, but that would be a really cool final to see.
Yeah. I was
drama, I'm
watching
sure.
I was watching ESPN FC today, as I do. And they're talking to Craig Burley, who played in the World Cup for Scotland, and talking about one of the pep talks that his I forget his teammate's name, that it was like the team captain for Scotland at the time. And they said they lined up next to the Brazilians when they played them. All of them had these clean haircuts. He said they all smelled so nice. And like all the Scottish players were like fat and missing teeth and stuff. And like that's like the fun thing about the World Cup is you have these certain players and cultures that really, I mean, football is an international sport, but a lot of these times would never play against each other. And it's just so amazing because Brazil's going to look dang good.
They are.
That's one of my favorite things about the World Cup. It brings the world together like none other. It's going to be bringing the whole world together in a couple days. So I'm super, super excited.
Yeah, I think, there's going to be so many great storylines that come out of this. Like I said, it's going to be an emotional tournament for so many nations. If it comes on the heels of victory or, pain and agony of an injury or defeat early on when it's unexpected, that's the roller coaster ride that people love. Hopefully, what's happening on the field isn't overshadowed by the things surrounding it politically, surrounding Qatar, whatever it is. I'm just excited to be invested in it with the people around me like you guys. I can't wait to watch together, to support the boys in red, white, and blue, and see what we can do, some damage potentially in this. But that's the World Cup. That's the World Cup preview. We hope that you guys enjoyed tagging along. So many storylines, predictions, like the Golden Boot winner, player of the tournament, all those things. But honestly, I think that's a good place to kind of end things for today.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this process. It's not every day you get to step into a World Cup tournament like this, and it happens only every 4 years. So pretty special time indeed. So strap in, follow along with us. We can't wait to watch it. We appreciate you hearing what we had to say. So continue to support coverage like this by liking this video, subscribing, leaving a comment with who you want to win, your favorite World Cup story, like the first time you watched like our memories of seeing Landon Donovan score a winner late against Algeria. Moments like that, they stick in your mind with the World Cup. So hit that notification bell to see our next video about the World Cup. And if you like what you heard, like I said, leave a like. And find us on Twitter and Instagram with a follow there. You can find the links to everything in the description below. Find those videos from Tifo and Johnny Harris as well. And for the last time this video, I have been Cole Carter. They have been Brandon Patesnick and Stephen Curl. We will see you in the next one once the World Cup starts. We'll see you then. Until then, enjoy the games and peace out.